If you've ever looked around your office and thought, is this really it? Am I meant for something more? Well, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we're jumping right into this explainer to uncover the unseen mechanics behind career dissatisfaction. We're going to dive into a fascinating philosophical framework to figure out why so many of us feel completely stuck, frustrated, and just totally unfulfilled in our jobs today. And we are starting right out of the gate with a truly staggering figure. While much of the international community finds ways to be relatively content with their basic living circumstances, a massive 90% of people in this specific cultural context are fundamentally dissatisfied with their lives. I mean, it's literally an epidemic of dissatisfaction. Seeing a stat like that naturally begs the ultimate question, right? Why are such a massive majority of people so deeply dissatisfied with their lives and their jobs? Is it simply a lack of modern resilience? Are we all just complaining a bit too much? Or is there a deeper structural root cause driving this widespread modern frustration that we just aren't seeing? Well, the absolutely crucial point here, and I really want you to internalize this, is that this dissatisfaction isn't a failure on your part. The problem isn't you. Rather, it's a fundamental mismatch between what you are deeply capable of doing and the low-level tasks you're currently being asked to do. You see, you've gathered all this knowledge and capability to actually use it, not just to sit on it. So when you can't use it, you feel trapped. To understand exactly why this happens, we have to look at a brilliant concept called Ji-yoon. Basically, this translates to your innate energy, your capacity, and the vast quality of your potential. Think of it as your internal engine. When your innate energy, your Ji-yoon, is massive, kind of like a sports car engine, but your daily work is extremely low level, like being stuck driving in a school zone all day, immense frustration is the only natural outcome. The engine wants to rev, but it just can't. Let's think about this like two different kinds of monks. Imagine a monk who's just waiting for the afterlife. They can sit perfectly still in one place for years without even an ounce of frustration, mainly because their goal requires absolutely no external action. But what about a monk who is studying with the massive goal of actively helping society? If you force them to just sit still and do nothing, they're going to feel completely suffocated. They'll end up wandering endlessly, feeling totally lost until they find a true outlet for that immense purpose. And you know what? We see this exact same dynamic play out in the modern workforce every single day. A simple laborer whose internal energy perfectly matches their job is content with a small raise. They don't look higher, and they're genuinely happy. But a high-energy individual, someone with massive ji-yoon, is constantly looking at the level above them because they have the capacity for more. They can clearly see that next step, and they feel incredibly agitated if they can't reach it. Which brings us directly to a huge symptom of this mismatch, the whole modern job-hopping phenomenon. This framework perfectly explains why young professionals today are constantly quitting their jobs, often leaving within just 3 to 4 years or sometimes even mere months. They aren't just being flaky. What's actually happening is their internal energy is violently rejecting an environment that simply doesn't utilize their true capacity. The data here is fascinating because it reveals exactly how we end up in these mismatched roles in the first place. A staggering 70% of people enter their current jobs not because it's their true calling, but out of sheer circumstance and unavoidable necessity. Basically, we take the job to pay the bills, not because it's where our energy truly belongs. So let's break down exactly why this job hopping inevitably happens based on what we've covered. First, people simply haven't found their true work yet. Because they entered the workforce out of necessity, their massive energy fundamentally clashes with the basic role they're in. But most importantly, and this is where things get really actionable for us, they're frustrated because they are doing the wrong kind of study or preparation for their future. Okay, so this leaves us with a highly practical question. If you have this big energy and you can clearly see the level above you, making you feel completely suffocated in your current role, what should you actually do? How do you ascend to where you belong without just blindly quitting every 6 months or trying to unfairly bribe your way to the top? Well, the source material offers an incredibly powerful reframe for this exact dilemma. If you can clearly see the position above you, you are absolutely meant to go there eventually. That is a fact. But your current frustrating position, you need to stop viewing it as a dead end and start looking at it as a required study phase or a classroom. You are there to build the specific skills required for that next level. This all builds into a highly actionable 3-step framework for true ascension. Step 1 is vision. You must see the level above you. Step 2 is action. You have to use your current, perhaps frustrating day-to-day role as a dedicated study period to learn absolutely everything you can. And here's the magic part. If you genuinely do the work in step 2, step 3 happens organically. You will naturally ascend when you're truly ready without having to force it at all. And the reward for all this patience and dedicated study, it's immense. When you finally do the work you were truly meant to do, work that perfectly matches your vast energy, it acts as a massive psychological release. It quite literally unravels all those pent-up knots, frustrations, and anxieties inside of you, leaving you feeling completely clear and aligned. Which brings us to this really profound realization. To quote the text, "When you find your true work and do it, there are no regrets. It brings true joy and happiness." Finding that perfect alignment between your massive internal capacity and your daily output means you'll never, ever have to feel that suffocating dissatisfaction again. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to ponder regarding your own career journey. Right now, instead of just wanting to escape your current job and run away from all that frustration, ask yourself, what exactly do you need to learn right now, right where you currently stand, to prepare yourself for the level above? Figure out what your curriculum is, start studying, and I promise you, your massive energy will finally find its true home.